every breath's a gift. Love like nothing's ever missed. Shine from the inside out, so clear, so bright. Live, love, shine.
Hello, and a warm, heartfelt welcome. Today we've dug deeply into a familiar topic once again now. It is about Ingrid Neukert, a well-known spiritual teacher and healer. We have looked at a lot of details for this indeed. A YouTube interview, her official website, a dossier about her work, and the profile from the One Spirit Festival. And our mission was to truly understand exactly what lies behind their concept of self-healing. And to put it this way, we actually stumbled upon a rather radical idea that seems to run through everything. What if the pure information of a healing remedy is more important, more effective than the substance itself? That seems to be the heart of it.
Yes, indeed, exactly. That is the guiding thread that truly runs through everything. It has nothing at all to do with you being passively healed by someone else. Her approach is, as described in the sources, a kind of combination of consciousness training, finding the causes behind the symptoms, and then very practical tools that are based exactly on this principle, the direct access to healing information. And
above all else, there is a guiding motif that seems to make its appearance everywhere. Spreading light and love is, to me personally, the most beautiful thing in the world. That may sound at first like a very general idea, but it truly appears to form the very foundation of her entire outlook. This is the kind of radical gratitude.
yes, and an inner peace, as she says, should be wholly independent of external circumstances.
Exactly. The exciting question is, of course, how does one come to such a deeply rooted conviction?
Her path there, which she describes in the interview, is, as it were, like a journey of simplification, a movement away from coarse matter toward pure, fine-grained information. Indeed, this marks a significant development.
Okay, then let's outline this journey for now. Where does the whole thing begin?
It began over 50 years ago, completely harvested and truly tangible. In the interview, she recounts two early influences, her deeply nature-connected grandmother and the enduring wisdom of the Indians.
So there is a very deep connection to nature, to plants, to something very physical.
Exactly. And then there was a particularly concrete trigger.
Your mother's illness, is that correct?
Yes, that was the crucial turning point in her life. There she began to devote herself intensively to a wide and varied range of herbs, even making healing salves by herself. So she took physical substances, processed them, and applied them.
And she really saw that it works?
Exactly. Yes, she describes that her mother, as a direct result, actually had less pain and regained her appetite. She calls that the starting point of her naturopathic career.
That is, after all, the first step. Very classic material naturopathy. You take a plant that has an active ingredient and you apply it. Tangible and understandable.
Absolutely, indeed. And from that point on, she moves on into, I would say, subtler areas. The next logical step for her was the training to become a Heilpraktikerin. She never formally completed it, but there she discovered two methods for herself that have fundamentally shaped her work to this very day. Homeopathy and acupressure? Exactly. She's practiced both for more than 34 years per sources.
That is already the next level of abstraction. In acupuncture, you no longer work with substances, but energy points and acupuncture methods nowadays as well. Homeopathy is the doctrine that not the substance, but the information actually works.
That is the transition. She moves from the tangible to the subtle. And for almost 30 years, she has gone through this phase together with her late husband, Alexander.
Have you two worked together?
Yes, very tight. Our work courses were offered and her methods grew. And what comes across as very emotional in the interview is how she talks about him. She still feels deeply connected to him even after his death. She
says yes, she is sure that her souls will continue to work together.
Yes, this very personal spiritual level seems to be her foundation and source of power.
Okay, this deeply personal, almost mystical background is the single lone side. But how does she actually put that into practice? How does this stance become a method you can use in daily life?
Through tools that relentlessly advance this simplification further. Let us take acupuncture now. She has written a book about it, praised in the dossier as one of the best and most lucid on the subject. And
Her motive has always been to give people affordable methods that do not require costly gear.
That's right. That stemmed from her time as a nurse when she herself had little money. So it is always about empowerment and accessibility.
But the method that today really seems to be at the center and drives this notion of pure information to the extreme is another, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. And this is the so-called forehead dash method, according to Zeeden. And it is, to be honest, at first glance quite astonishing.
Astonishing, since it sounds so radically simple.
Exactly. In the interview, she explains it clearly. You take the thumb, which according to her teaching contains the reflex zone of the pituitary gland, and stroke it gently from the nasal root to the hairline.
Okay, and what happens then?
Meanwhile, one says the homeopathic remedy's name. Out.
Moment, you only say the name, so you no longer take any globules or drops.
That's right. You don't need the physical substance any longer, indeed. It provides a clear, quite concrete example. The sentence allergy complex Z goes into the ideal dosage as one rubs it in.
And that should take effect?
That should unfold the effect of this complex in the body. Yes.
That, of course, is the point where for many it becomes quite abstract. How is that justified in the sources? What is the supposed mechanism behind it?
What is truly fascinating here is the underlying principle. It concerns how the pure information of a substance is transmitted through deliberate intention and a precisely aimed gesture. The theory behind it, as it is presented, is that the developer of the method has manifested these complexes as pure light and energy information within the so-called quantum field.
Okay, we should rapidly unpack the terms licht information and Quantenfeld. That is, according to your teaching, this allergy aid exists as a kind of fundamental energetic blueprint.
Quasi-universal on hand, exactly, and
which can be easily retrieved by this method, so...
Is that what it's meant to be? Name of the means sounds like a password or a search term. Intent and the dash are the command to download this specific information. The information should then, so the explanation says, be fed directly into the system through the pineal gland, which is frequently regarded as an antenna for spiritual information, directly into the system.
That is the ultimate simplification of her healing journey. From the physical plant, through the homeopathic remedy, to pure, completely retrievable information. There is no longer any need for material things.
You no longer need to buy any more resources. You only need your consciousness, your intention, and your thumb. That is the very essence of the subtle healing she speaks of, the maximal form of self-empowerment with minimal effort.
Also, she tells a striking anecdote in the interview.
With the steeds?
Exactly. She was around horses on the farmstead, by her cook's place, and suddenly developed a severe allergic reaction, burning eyes, a runny nose.
Although she hadn't had that for many long years.
That's right. And then afterwards she calmly sat down and, for 5 long minutes, slowly, deliberately smeared this allergy complex Z with the forehead stroke. And...
the result?
The allergy was fully gone after that, as she literally says.
Wow, that's obviously a bold claim. In just 5 minutes, a severe allergic reaction is gone. That sounds like a miracle.
Absolutely. And she provides an even more everyday example that clarifies the logic too, a calf cramp.
Oh yes, not taking magnesium.
Exactly. Instead of a tablet, you should simply rub it gently a few times and say that magnesium phosphoricum D30 is taken at the optimal dosage. In your experience, the cramp then simply goes away.
Because the body receives and uses information about magnesium.
It was
Here it becomes clear that we are dealing with a worldview in which the mind has direct and immediate influence over the material world. Information, focused through intention, should be able to alter physical reality itself. Whether,
believe it or not, as a concept, it is the steady final stage of the path she has taken. Absolutely indeed. And what does this extreme viewpoint mean for her personal life philosophy, for her own vision and worldview? Is it also about this kind of mental shaping for her daily life?
in the interview, she makes it perfectly clear at that time, answering the question about her main vision. She simply says that she desires to be happy, and that one day she hopes to die truly happy.
That might perhaps sound quite banal.
But she links it to a very tangible practice, and
what would that be?
Gratitude. She says that the very first word she thinks and says upon waking in the morning is thank you. This gratitude, this inner peace that she cultivates, is for her the very foundation of everything. She describes it in the conversation as her actual capital.
Not money, not possessions, but this inner state, a lasting steadfast condition within.
That is right.
Indeed, then the application of the same principle to the emotional level. Just as she rubs magnesium information into the body, she cultivates the information of gratitude in her mind.
That's a very apt analogy. And she intends to pass on this capital. That is her mission. She does this, for example, in free meditation groups.
Those that are apparently quite popular?
Yes, so incredibly popular that the groups keep getting bigger all the time. Instead of the planned 12 people, 20 arrive at once because the demand is so great. She even plans to hold energy seminars at the pyramids in Visoko, Bosnia.
Your books are also part of the transfer. There, the dossier mentions an interesting point about production.
That is correct. It clearly indicates that the books are quite relatively expensive. But that's not due to greed, but because they are produced in the print-on-demand production process.
Are they printed only if someone orders them?
Exactly, in small, limited print runs. That, too, indeed, once again aligns with this notion. It is not about bulk production of a tangible good, but about the careful dissemination of knowledge to those who actively seek it.
It underscores this character as treasures of knowledge.
Yes, everything is quite coherent with her core philosophy.
So, to sum this up, we are looking at the long arc of a woman who begins with hands-on, practical naturopathy using herbs for healing.
And then further developed through energy methods like acupressure and homeopathy.
And finally, one reaches a method that is almost entirely informative, the Sternstrick method, where matter hardly matters anymore.
A journey into the ever more subtle, ever more abstract,
to the goal of total self-empowerment.
The central idea, which truly runs through all sources, is that healing for them is not the mere treatment of symptoms. Rather, it is the deliberate, conscious alignment of one's own consciousness and one's own intention toward a deeper, informal reality.
By gratitude, through rituals and the belief in the mind's power over the body.
The Sternstrick method is for this purpose the briefest and perhaps the most provocative sample. The
pure idea that the name of a remedy, together with a gesture, can produce the same effect as taking the remedy itself.
It is the split of the effect from the substance. It is no longer about the substance. It is just about the information that this substance carries. And this information, the teaching says, is freely available.
And this line of work by Ingrid Neukert indeed and convincingly suggests that the pure information of a remedy can be as effective as the substance itself, which raises a thoughtful final question for you to seriously consider. If our consciousness can energetically access and apply the properties of a remedy simply by naming it, what other parts of our reality could we then influence only through the power of intention and focus? That possibility invites reflection.
Live like every breath's a gift. Love like nothing's ever missed. Shine from the inside out, so clear, so bright. Live, love, shine.